Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettymodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. What's happening? What's up? I think we're doing good. We're making it. It's Wednesday. Talking tropics. Countdown resetting. I always forget to hit that button. So yeah, let's see. The Facebook comments are a little weird today. I'm trying to make it more comments. I can't really see that many comments today. Looks different. What's different about it? Looks different today. I'm only seeing 2 comments at a time. Huh. Weird. Maybe it's because I got the screen small. Let me see here. There we go. That's a little better. I'll make it smaller. Just need reading glasses. All right, well, we're here. We're going to be talking weather. Tropics are kind of heating up. I mean, everybody says that, right? Heating up. Tropics are heating up, but they are. Nothing to stress about yet. There's a lot of models out there that are doing a lot of weird things. Not feeling any confidence on any particular run yet. Okay, there's a lot of runs actually showing Invest 94 not even coming to the U.S. Okay, Bahamas, yes. So all this is within a week, though. So we're in a time frame here that we need to be paying a little extra close to all these possibilities. It's not very common that we have 2 systems out there at the same time. That's what's making things tricky. So promise to get into all that. Patience. We usually say hello till 9:30, so you got a few minutes to get a cup of coffee and whatever else. I got 2 dogs on my lap today as we say hello to everybody. All right, so I got all my chats happy. We're over there on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on X, and we're on our mwpchat.com. Hello. And here we go. We're getting anything for Florida. Nobody's getting anything. So, at all. We're just watching. There's no systems yet. There are possible systems. But yeah, I'm going to go raw latest. So, I am Mike, coming to you from Oldsmar, Florida. Our daily brew brought to you by our great friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Let me put the radar on here while we say hello. I am from Florida, but I do cover all tropics. And we have 2 dogs we show every morning. So let's talk first to Longo. We're going to get a yawn today. We're going to let Longo get 3 yawns in before we let Louie up, okay? So you got to do 3 yawns today. Oh, there's 1. Morning, Jess. What's up? Chris from the U.S. Virgin Islands. How about that? Yeah. Oh, there's 2. He's a yawner. And, yeah. So, we have one more yawn coming, buddy. There. Oh, I thought it was coming. Nothing scary, Rich. Nope, nothing scary yet. Patrick, good morning. Taco. Oh, there's your 3rd one. All right, we'll give you a little more time up here. I think he's almost 3 months old now. I can't remember. 3 times 12. I think he's 4 months old now. I don't know. What's up, Steve, Stephanie, Lynn from North Carolina. We're going to get into all that. Yep. Judy says hello. What's up, Gulfport Steve? Slade says hello. He's a little more calmer today. Michelle from Myrtle Beach. What's up? Ann, love. Got a lot of folks popping in. We actually had people in the Azores yesterday that messaged me. Oh, there we go. There's the 4th yawn. Anybody else yawning? You know, that's a human reaction when you see somebody yawn, to yawn at the same time. So, yeah, there you go, Tom. Did you yawn? But St. Croix, it's awesome. A couple more minutes of hellos, and then we're going to go right into the weather, I promise. Let's say hi to Louie real quick. So, again, we got a lot of people chiming in on these messages. I noticed I shared a picture of Gabrielle, and I'm still getting pretty mean comments. I'm not a Tampa-only weather guy. You know, we talk about weather. We have a lot of followers and fans in Bermuda. I've been on Bermuda News before covering it. We have people in the Azores that watch us. So, you got to remember, Mike's weather page is not just Tampa, Florida, all right? There's another one. He does these little half yawns. Remember yesterday he was doing these little half yawns? So a lot of people think I'm hyping when I'm talking about things that aren't affecting Tampa, and that's not the case. That's just, you know, I think a lot of people think because I'm still talking about a system that's not coming to Tampa, they think it's hype. But no, we have a lot of people, as you can see, from all around. So the only thing I ever ask you all when you see somebody doing that, remind them that there's more people outside of Tampa that watch tropics. So anyway, yeah. So I'll be on Fox Weather today at 1:45, doing a little story from Helene on my storm chasing journey from that trip, and it'll be a story that means a lot to me. So we're going to share a pretty cool little story of a family. So that'll be at 1:45 p.m. And Dan, he is fading fast. What's up, Just Cool Buildings? What's going on? People want some rain. We got Lydia in Bahamas watching close. Yes, we have a lot of folks in the Bahamas. Ricardo 94 is very curious. This is a water vapor loop, by the way, we're looking at, and we're going to get into everything. Harold, how's it going? 44 degrees where Harold's coming from. Obviously, he's not from Florida. Lenny from Calabash, North Carolina. Where the heck's that at? So, there we go. All right, 9:30. Morning from Mayo, Bahamas. You guys all rock. Cool. All right, so now we got everybody in here. We got some coffee, and we're going to go right into it because I want to talk weather. And again, I am not a meteorologist. I never claimed to be. Just some dude. Always trust National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center, and of course your local meteorologists are the ones to turn to if I get confusing. I know a lot of folks get confused with what I post. So I should go where? Go get on the TV and chase. I do there, Rich. So, all right. We're going to go right into weather. Promise we'll say some hellos at the end, but we got a lot of people watching for weather, and that's what we're going to talk about. So here's the weather in a nutshell. We got Gabrielle, believe it or not. We're going to show you that. The Azores are under hurricane warning. We have Invest 93. We have Invest 94. We got an upper level low that's nothing. And that's what we're talking about. We got a front line that's kind of lifting these to the north. Got another front coming into play that could lift out of here with some cutoff low with a high pressure building back in that could steer this a little bit more towards the U.S. East Coast. It looks like a face right there. Hi. All right, so let's get rid of that one and go right into it. For all you new people, the reason I put day 21, I started walking 21 days ago in a row, and every day I share a picture. So today I saw a hawk. I always try to find a picture to post about our walk. I haven't done them every day. I'm only going to do them every other day now because they get kind of old. But today we're watching tropics like a hawk. So that was pretty crazy. All right, real quick, Gabrielle, believe it or not, it's going to have hurricane warnings to the Azores. There's our people that live out there. And then it's going to go to Spain and Portugal. So Gabrielle going due east. That's so wild to see a due east storm. This came out yesterday. I did not post it because we're in the midst of watching two things. But down the road, look at that. Caribbean not showing anything. First week October. Now these maps, like you said, sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. I don't put too much into them. And hello TikTok, I see you guys too, but we're not. I'm gonna say hello at the end. So if you want to say hey, I'll say hi. Usually around 10 o'clock. But then look at week 3. Maybe the CAG gets going again. So just common areas to watch this time of year. There's no 40%. It's all just areas to watch. We might have 1 or 2 more waves coming across, but that's it. This map, I mean, common sense, Western Caribbean and Gulf, first part of October. Nothing definite on that. Here again, it's a current look, and not a lot of convection, but it does have the signs that this thing's going to try to get going. This little spinner here is an upper level low that's kind of bringing some wind shear ahead of Invest 94. Invest 93 there. Probably going to curve, so we're going to focus a lot on Invest 93 and 4, but obviously 4 a little bit more than 3. And there's the water vapor. I'm going to click out. Here is the map I posted this morning. This was this latest 8 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. Invest 93 is the eastern wave. Invest 94 is the western wave. This boxed shaded area are areas of development where they believe it could develop in the next 7 days. Chances are 90% for 93, 80% for 94. So both have a high chance that they believe they're going to become named. And then where they go from there. Like I said, there's a lot of models saying that it ain't all come close to the U.S. Bermuda, yes. Maybe this will go back between the gap. Maybe both of them. So I'm going to show you all the latest models. That's all we can do at this point. Every single meteorologist that I follow is saying the same thing. No one knows because we have 2 competing systems out there being affected by so much physics that nobody knows. So if you're coming to me, I'm not Nostradamus. So we're going to look at what the models are saying. And there is a little consistency of this thing maybe not impacting a direct U.S. landfall, but not going to gamble on that yet. Here, Wednesday AM ensembles, GFS on the bottom. Now, there's this thing I just posted, the Fujiwara effect is a real thing where a stronger system will absorb a weaker system. That's what the GFS has been doing all along. It develops 93 and it pulls up 94. It turns it into one big broad area of low pressure, and then it sends it out of here. If it didn't hit Bermuda, that would be fantastic. The Euro, on the other hand, not Randy Travis, on the other hand, I love old country, by the way. We have a lot of ensembles not doing that, and that's what we're going to be, watching closely. Turks, Caicos, Bahamas, even Florida a little bit. I mean, not a lot, but this thing could skirt, and of course there are some showing a potential lift up here. So there are some that are turning too. So this is not about the worst doom and gloom forecast. I try so hard to keep that away. So these are operational runs. These are on tropicaltidbits.com. I pulled these a lot in the past, and I like doing this. This is, Icon this year hasn't done good, so I didn't put that on there. Canadians always doing pretty decent. So the top 4 graphics, what you're looking at, The euro has been trending Invest 94 to be a weaker system, Invest 93 a stronger system. And the latest euro kind of touches the coast and then it pulls it out of here. I'm going to show you that. Euro AI, kind of the same idea, a weaker system, a little more to the west, close to Florida, and then it eventually pulls back into 93. GFS is not even showing 94, basically 93. All these are close to Bermuda, but believe it or not, passing by on the west side. And then we got the Canadian doing 2 hooks, not even getting close. So that scenario there, coastal impacts, but not a direct bad hit, okay? But these operational runs, as we've mentioned before, they're going to change a lot. But we are seeing consistency. I posted it yesterday. So, if you had to kind of pick something, 94 would lift and possibly turn up into 93. Hopefully, there you go. Now, the thing that's really crazy to me is our hurricane-specific models, the HAFs, the HMON, the H-Wharf, completely different. They're not even developing hardly, well, they are a little bit. They're going all in on 94. And that's weird. So the operational runs are saying 94 no, 93 yes. Your hurricane models are saying 94 yes, 93 no. But notice 2 systems. So yeah, BOGO systems. I mean, that's consistency right there. And these are all Monday, Tuesday. Early morning Tuesday on the top 2. Early morning Tuesday on the bottom 2. Or the bottoms are Monday morning because they don't run that far out. So, if it impacted anybody, if it turned, so Bahamas would be this weekend. If it turned into Florida, it could be Sunday, Monday. If it hit the Carolinas, it could be as early as Tuesday, but likely more like Wednesday. Here's the latest spaghetti models on tropical tidbits. Now I'm going to refresh these. I think the newest ones are not as long, so you can see the general feeling of the overall models on the 06Z were kind of going up. Some of them are starting to show that curve. Latest 12Z doesn't run that far out, so we'll look at them in a different way. But, there's your hook. So development would be slow to occur because A, it's over some wind shear right now from that upper level low, and B, we got, Puerto Rico going to get a lot of rain in Hispaniola, but the mountains prevent a quick development because of the higher elevation. Disrupts the lower level circulation. The mountains of Hispaniola are so tall they actually disrupt the winds. So any development likely would be past Hispaniola, nearing the Turks and Caicos. Intensity models here are showing they went down a little bit. Weaker system. Good news, right? Not even just the H-Wharf showing a hurricane. So again, the stress level, there's nothing indicating anybody, at least in the U.S., should be stressed right now. Okay. Aware, yes. But we're not seeing, anything bad yet. If we do, then I'll make sure to be the first to tell you. So the latest models, went down. Now, the intensity models are tricky. From the past, they've been hit or miss with systems too. But I still show them. And that's what the models are predicting. It's pretty sloppy looking right now. This is it does have some sort of low level trying to get going here. We got some wind shear coming in. That's basically your rains. There's Puerto Rico. We got the Virgin Islands. Somebody just chimed in and said they're getting a light rain. So it's not very organized at the moment. 93, let's look at that one. Then we're going to digest all of them. 93 models are definitely the intense one. The GFS has been predicting this to be the stronger of the two and actually pulling up 94 and absorbing it. So it could be a strong system. Tracks, it could be a true meaning of a fish storm. There's Bermuda. So let's see if that holds out. Good news there. This is the latest 93. And it has a little bit more convection to it. You can actually see it's got a spin. It might be named today, actually, because it's got signs of a lower level. It's got an actual low pressure center on that. Let's see here. All right, so let's go to Weather Nerds and look at the latest models. Let me take a break, see what everything good. Everybody says, are we good in Florida? Nobody knows anything. Nobody should be concerned unless you're in the short term. Caribbean rains, squally weather. Turks and Caicos, maybe this thing might start developing a little bit. Bahamas would be this weekend. That would be where I would start to have a little more raise your eyebrows and be paying attention. And of course, anybody from Florida all the way to Carolina is equally watching the same. Florida maybe a little less. We could have a coastal skirt, bringing a lot of impacts. They have a lot of new sand out there with beach renourishment. So even without a direct hit would cause some impacts. But there are still some ensembles that are very questionable as far as guaranteeing this thing turns out to sea. Carly wants to know if it's okay to cruise. Yes. Unless they cancel, don't stress. Every cruise line will figure out a way to go around the storm, change the itinerary. Everybody cruises in the peak of heat hurricane season, and guess what? Life goes on. The cruise ships figure it out. So no stress on that. Don't stress. Hey, James, I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Bill from Topeka, Kansas. What's up, Kansas? We got Jamaica. Keisha, hello. I'm trying to catch up to my thing. North Carolina. Braxton, I haven't seen your name in a while, buddy. How you been? Barbados. Yep, that's your part. That's your way of life in the Barbados, right? Saharan dust, a little bit, Matt. There is some dry air, but there was equally amount of dry air with Gabrielle and Aaron. It seems like it's just so weird when it impacts. Sometimes this peak season time, usually the dust, dry air isn't a huge player like it is early season. But Aaron from Long Island, what's up? Any more? We can say hi real quick. Hello, Marianne. How's Tallahassee? Charleston, keep an eye. Yep. Disney, October 1st. Heidi, that's awesome. Playa del Carmen, how about that? Nobody should be worried. I get it, but no worry yet. And I guess I'm smiling because I can feel the tension online. But nothing's definite, so you got to be real careful sharing worst case. And again, I might have been that guy. Thank you, Chris Wells. But I'm not anymore. But I think I used to be, but I'm not. So, all right, let's look at these ensembles. So ensembles, very tricky. I think, remember, the Euro's got 51 of these things, okay? If we only got 10 or 15 or 20 showing development of Invest 94, that means there's 20 or 30% not even showing development. So, you got to be careful. It's not a guarantee. I'll never forget, Barrel. Ensembles look at possibilities, and it might say, okay, let's say the system stays weak. What's it going to do? And you'll get those west ones. If it says, okay, let's see if it's going to stay strong, okay, we get these north ones. Well, Barrel had a lot of weak ones that never redeveloped, and it made it look like it was going to go to Mexico. But there was a lot of the members that were still turning north up into Texas. So little common sense with Barrel was it was probably going to develop after the Yucatan, meaning forget about those lower southerly ensembles because stronger systems turn to the north and recurve, and that's what it did. So, but this gives you a sense at least. So we're going to be seeing two different models here. Oh, what was that? I went the wrong way. What the hell's going on here? Why is it going over there? Well, let's do loop. Oh, I didn't hit the loop yet. That's why. There we go. All right, so timing. This would be Thursday night, okay? Every one of those little dots is an idea where 93, 94 is. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Here's Friday night. Okay, that's general vicinity where the system would be Friday night. This Friday night. Now we're starting to see, a few members going weaker west. We're seeing some skirt Florida. Worst case, if this was any system, this would be Sunday night. Now that would be an extreme. It wouldn't have a lot of time, but the waters in the Caribbean, Bahamas are very warm. So everybody likes to know timing. Worst case, if it was going to impact, Bahamas are a given. You're going to get something out of this. I mean, it could be just rain, whatever. Hopefully nothing more. That's Saturday right there. So definitely, I've been saying weekend Bahamas now for, forever. If this thing turned a little bit, that would be, it could be as early as Sunday right there. Could even be, could be Monday right there. And now, if you want to look at 93, 93 is doing that hook. I mean, I think it's a pretty given that 93 is going to turn off to that northeast. The big question with the ensembles is, what the heck is 94 going to do? There are a couple that keep it weak going into the Gulf, and there are a couple that turn it. Now, the big tricky part is this developing high pressure to the north, okay? You might hear people talking about a cutoff low. Well, the cutoff low means that front line weakens up and we get a high pressure to the north that builds in, which could be the steering mechanism that blocks it. So that would be the only scenario but and it's hard to see on this map, but there are members of the Euro that are turning it to 93. So you can't focus on all these pointing to the U.S. There's a lot of these members that are turning up towards 93 also. That's the point of those operational runs, is a lot of these models are turning. So this is like the worst case scenario. Now, I've learned over the years, whatever they're sniffing is worth talking about, because I know why they're sniffing it is because there's high pressure to the north and weaker systems drift to the west. High pressure builds in between the two lows. Sometimes there you go. So that's just keeping me on edge. And then we have a little BOC down there, that crossover I've been talking a lot about. Just don't know. That only goes out 10 days. All right, so definitely we're just watching right now, okay? Once we get an official NHC cone, models start to get it a lot better. The only reason this is a little more tricky to me is all season we were looking at 10, 15-day ensembles. This is 5 days from now. This is not like 2 weeks from now. This is 5 days from now. So the next couple of days are going to be really important to keep alert on this. I mean, I hate to say the word is alert, but yeah, you want to pay attention, because if anything were to pop, then this would be when it would, And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Well, we can do this too. Let's take let's take off the tracks, and you can see the actual pressure readings. Give you a little better idea on what some of these are. In fact, I need to zoom in a little more on this. So let's do that at the end. I'm going to do that at the end just to give you the range of strengths. All right, so let's look at the GFS. That's the Euro. I think the GFS is going to show you exactly what's crazy about this Fujiwara type thing, where it's going to pull 94 northward. Here's 93, here's 94. 94 ends up pulling up into 93, and look, almost no ensembles on the GFS. So that's what I'm saying. We do not have consistency right now. And I know people come to me sometimes because they think, I go out on limbs and call things when I start to see things lining up. But there's so much discrepancy right now. It'd be foolish to just guess at this point. And that's being realistic. GFS is saying, hey, this thing's going to pull up into 93 and be a nothing burger, except maybe some weather for Bermuda. So that's a scenario right there. That's what I'm saying. Nobody should be stressed yet, because it's not a guarantee this thing's even going to head up to the East Coast there. Now, a lot of people are sharing the Google models. Google models are interesting. I got to keep reminding myself, these models this year have had a Western vibe to them, okay? They've been way west all year, so I'm a little hesitant to go beyond the Euro, and really Euro AI has been going west too. But I'll show them because maybe they're going to be right one day. But here's the basic. Now FNV are supposed to be more tropical cyclone specific, and kind of the same scenario. A lot of them are turning. Eventually, almost all of them are turning. A couple of them go north, a couple of them into Florida, a lot of them are turning. So again, it's not a guarantee that this thing. The timing here, again, here's Saturday night. This is Sunday morning this week. So it's going to be close. We all watched Matthew and Isaiah. Storms that ride close are kind of scary because they're right there. The other more low pressure based deep mine here showing a little more spread. Actually has a couple going into the Gulf, but it has a lot of them going off too. It's so hard to see with these models, I know, because they're starting to blend. But so as long as we still have people, you know, covered, and again, here's Sunday morning. So I think that's a given. Definitely a given on the timing, which is important. All right, so let's zoom in really close on these latest models here, and I'm going to try to isolate the Euro 94 only. So let's go like this. Not to like take anything away from the Bahamas, but I'm going to try to keep it about right there. We'll do that. That might eliminate any. Okay, let's try that. So these are going to show us pressures. So I'm going to do tracks off, and then we'll see actual pressure readings. And this will give you an idea on worst case scenario stuff. So, all right, so here's your Euro ensembles. We got 963, 1009, 981, 953. Remember, pressure, lower the pressure, stronger the storm. 1000 is normally not even, maybe even a tropical storm. So, important thing here, even with these scary lines, even half of the lines are still showing a weak low pressure area. If it is getting influence from 93, then it could be broadening, you know, a lot of shear. No one, that's kind of stuff's not known yet, but we do have some that are showing kind of strong. So, you know, we got 950, 960, you know, 970, 80, 90, 60. So there are equally stronger ones. And then there's some hanging out down here Monday that are kind of strong too. 970, 70, 80, 80, 80. So if it takes a long time to get going out of there, it can develop kind of quick. So you got 960, 1009, 980, 950, 960, 970. And like I said, a lot of them are turning too. So we're not saying this is a guarantee. It's just that it could be something strong quick. That's all. There's that. All right. So let's look at actual individual models here on tropical tidbits. Okay, so these are probably worth showing now because we're within 7 days. There you go, King of Dad. You're correct. 51 Euro and 31 GFS. I don't even know how many Google has, to tell you the truth. And each one of those lines is just different thought. I always explain ensembles as, you know, your GFS model that everybody shares is a blend usually of 31 different brains that come up with one idea. So when you get all 31 brains thinking the same thing, then you have really good confidence. But when you got 10 thinking this, 10 thinking that, 10 thinking this, those are because it's taken into account different weather patterns that might be happening. You know, so let's look at the operational ones. You know, so the GFS has been pretty good this year at times, and it's developing 93. It's not developing 94, and it pulls 94 into 93. Fujiwara maybe, and then it kind of splits the gap. I mean, that would be the best case scenario if nobody wants a storm, right? Little gap. Gets on out of here. So we're seeing this high pressure come into play. Let's say it doesn't pull it up. You can see where this high pressure now is becoming a thing. And if that high pressure builds in and there is something down here, that's kind of why we got to be alert on the on this cutoff low with high pressure coming back in. Remember yesterday, the Euro had a really big high pressure building back in, blocking anything. So the last few GFS has been really consistent on this idea. It's crazy to see. I mean, it's really crazy to see. Look at that. Turns into one storm, spins around each other, gets close to the Carolinas, and then it pulls out of here. So that's definitely a very possible scenario. 94 never develops. It's close enough to 93. Pulls it in. Fujiwara, big, broad, low-pressure area that is sloppy probably. like that, close enough to maybe bring some impacts to somebody, but it would be a very broad, low pressure area, not extremely strong if it did that. Usually, two systems would actually become more of a bigger, broader, low pressure area unless it had time to consolidate back into something more. And by the way, Gabrielle is crazy. It's actually going to still probably be a hurricane at Spain. So hey, the only landfalling hurricane this season could be the Azores in Spain. All right, let's look at the last couple. Euro, go zippy over here to the Euro. And the Euro, the reason I got big like this, I want to watch the high pressures at the same time. 6Z Euro, these just came out. All right, so we're looking, if 94 here, very weak signature here. Here's the developing 93. Sits around a little bit. This is kind of where you don't want, you don't want 94 to be sitting around here Saturday, Sunday, getting time to try to develop. We got a 976 Invest 93. And man, look how close they are. It's just crazy. So Monday morning on the latest Euro, we got 94, 93. 93 would be a major hurricane. And it's starting to show it pulling into it. Is the GFS king? All right, last night's European run. Let's take a look. But again, there's big high pressure right here too. So if it does not get absorbed, that would be, so it seems like if you don't want a storm, we want them close together. We want them to be absorbed. It'll have time to get out of here. If it becomes its own entity, probably going to be dealing with a high pressure that we've been seeing that might steer it a little bit more. Last night's overnight 00Z had 1,001 millibar over the Bahamas and started to follow. Sig is really close to the coast, not very strong. So, I mean, we're seeing a lot of consistency here. Here's the latest Canadian over the Bahamas over the weekend. And look how close they get. It pulls up into it and follows along. Bahamas or Bermuda maybe with that one. It's just amazing. I mean, I just, like I said, now the Euro AI, I just haven't seen good things this year, but it did good last year. Euro AI goes a little bit farther west. And it pulls in there. I mean, that's really good consistency right now. Right? Other than the ensembles. Here's the icon. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the dominant, I think 93 is going to end up pulling 94 with it. That seems to be a common thing right now. But here's the tricky part. This is the tricky part. Okay. These are your operational models. And other than the Bahamas, they're, everybody else should just be kind of watching. There shouldn't be any too concerned. And really, the Bahamas aren't showing anything too strong, to tell you the truth. I mean, you guys have been used to storms a lot, so nothing's showing up strong now. The only ones that are showing up strong, we flip a switch now, go 180. This is what really got me baffled this morning, was the Invest situation. It's out of picture now. That's H-Wharf. Oh, the H-Wharf might have switched now, too. Where is parent? Is it not even going to show it? There we go. Oh, the H-Wharf actually flipped now too. Weaker 94. Might be onto something here. Let's see if these bigger ones show up. Half's parent. Let's see if this shows up. Man, they're just having a hard time. They're just not even able to pick it right now. Man, I don't know. The models are just having a really hard. So now, man, they flip 182 now. Look at that. So, hey, I think we're seeing a trend here that maybe 94 might not really become much. Like, we're not really able to see too much with these little guys. They're just having a hard time. Let's see. So we got some more tools to use here. Let's take a look at the Canadian or the UK. If you listen to that video in the beginning, remember it says I don't forecast, so definitely wait. Look at the UK doing almost the same thing. That's a lot of consistency that 94 gets pulled up into 93. That's the UK. There's a lot of models suggesting that. Same thing with the KMA. Wow. So that's, that's good confidence. That's 3 models right there. I mean, there's a lot of models showing that. Let's look at these. Let's see if these pull up a little better. H-Wharf. Oh, this one's the H-Wharf. Why now? See, that's weird. But it's right. It's this one ran 6Z. This is so weird. So when you click on 94, it shows 93 weak. If you click on 93, it shows 93 strong and 94 a little weak. So I think the models are just having a hell of a time trying to figure out what to do. But if you do click 94, it does show that for Monday morning, which is specific to Invest 94. So that could be still a strong system. Notice how it's almost nothing Friday. Starts to develop by the Bahamas. This is Saturday night. And then there you go. But doesn't go past 126. That's the H-Wharf, which is usually pretty good. Let's see what the Haas A model does. Yeah, see, you see something like that and you don't want to say anything because you're like, So Haas A slowly starts to develop it. It only goes out to Monday morning. It takes a lot of time though, and that could definitely be tricky because it would miss that pole out of here. This is Monday morning. That's the Haas A, Haas B. Kind of showing the same thing. Week, Monday morning. I would think a slower moving system would not be ideal. HMON. Let's see what it says. Oh, and HMON's strong on Monday morning. You don't really know. Well, there's the Bahamas right here. So that could be Monday morning. 984 pressure would be a hurricane. So you can't say with confidence yet, but there's a lot of models suggesting a curve. Now here's your Google modeling. Until we actually have a system, this is where I've noticed that Google does a really good track once we have a system. Right now we don't have a track, so it's just guessing. This is where I've seen all year that the Google's been a little off until we actually have a system. But this is the idea. This is Sunday morning. Makes sense, right? There's a key. There's a couple hurricanes, it's a couple, not a lot. And obviously, 93 would be stronger. When does that pop into the picture here? So I haven't even figured this out yet. I just saw it. Come on. Where'd it go? Oh, it's just a member one. Oh, these are all the individual members. You could put a hand over them. So that's Sunday morning. And it has a couple of them obviously doing that. And eventually they all kind of go off to the northeast. This model here, their next gen, it has a little bit more west. See, I'm talking about that west biased on the Google. So I'm not putting a lot of stock into these right now. This would be Monday morning. But I just think the models have a really hard time right now. But they're being shared, and that's, timing would be Monday morning. Next graph. Oh, this is interesting. What's that? I haven't seen this one. Oh, it's actually running now. That's a new product. Shows tropical storm turning, following 93. See that? Look at that. That's pretty cool. Hopefully, right? Bahamas, though, unfortunately, would be dealing with a little something. This would be Sunday night, Monday. And then your Euro main ensembles here, we've already showed a bunch. This is a new feature. The Euro high res showing a storm, and then it turns off. So, I don't know. That's a lot of nothing. October 8th, we're not talking about that chip. No. You know why? Because it's not going to be there the next run. But it's 100% area that we watch early October, okay? Guaranteed. I know what run you're talking about. I don't know. Right there. Oh, no. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. What the hell? Yeah, there you go. There's your GFS. I mean, yeah, you never know. All right, well, there's 3 runs. I mean, I saw it. I just wasn't going to talk about it, but you brought it up, so. So yesterday's 12Z low pressure, October 5th. The 18Z run on the GFS starts to show low pressure October 5th, and then overnight run started to show a little more stronger low pressure October 7th and 8th, and then the 6Z just came out, and of course, yeah, there you go. But, definitely always an outlier. But let's see what the Euro's showing. And it's showing a little weak low here, October 6th. See that? But yeah, I mean, and the Canadian doesn't go. So just take it for a grain of salt. Anything that far out. I wish it was different. I wish that we could trust modeling, but we can't anymore. Papa Roach concert. Okay, that's fun. So what else? Let's see. What did I miss? Yeah, Bill, the GFS jump scare. Guaranteed. Hey, I didn't even look at the 06Z. That definitely would get you some clicks. We got a lot of folks watching. Yep, GFS shows hurricane in Bay. Alexa, nope, that's not a forecast at all. That's just, nope. It's an area to watch, obviously. Listen, Michael, October. Milton was October. There's no hype in telling people we can have bad hurricanes in October. You could Google it. There are a ton of October hurricanes, okay? People think the season's over sometimes, and sometimes it's kind of just getting going. So, Tabletop Geek, yeah, there's nothing to stress about, man. A lot of modeling is showing this thing turning off towards 94 or 93. When is Gabrielle going to hit Portugal? Yeah, definitely. We want to show you that, which is crazy. Still a few days away, but let's just give you an idea here. Timing wise, it would be probably the 28th. It would start to get close to as a storm, which is what's the 28th? Today's 24th. I don't even know. Let's break it down into a day. Oh, I just saw your text there, Shelly. Sorry. Well, you all know the day. You probably looked it up already. I have no idea. I got this Pixel now that somebody talked me into, and I don't know how to go to my calendar. The 28th, whatever that's at. Can't even find my calendar. The hell's my calendar at? I have no idea. There's my calendar. And by now you already know. Sunday. Oh, I just found out that Julie gets highlights tomorrow. So I'll be on Fox today at 1:45, by the way, if you're just tuning in. Fox weather. So hopefully it's a weakening system, but it could still bring a lot of rain and stuff. We got hurricane warnings for the Azores. Crazy for that. These little islands out here. Can you believe that? What are the chances of that? Damn hurricane right over top of you. Excuse me. And it's going to be on the rough side too as it spins by. Fox weather today. All right. Trisha should be watching Virginia Beach. Yeah, definitely. This thing goes to the north. For sure. Portugal. There you go. Sorry, Rob. Didn't even know that. I learned something new, geography. Didn't know that. Now I know. I'll always know the Azores are part of Portugal. Hey, I will admit, I had no clue where 99% of the islands were. Hell, I still don't even know the flyover states. We learned Vermont and New Hampshire together last year because Vermont looks like a V. That's how I got through college, was word association. I don't think New England should be too concerned, really. There's a front coming down. The front's everything. I mean, honestly, we go back to old school common sense. There's a front coming. And if we go to... Why is it not popping up? Man, sometimes these things don't work. What the hell? Bummer. Damn it, what the hell? I haven't looked at it in a couple of days. It must be down for something. Oh, this one's showing 24 hours. This is not going past D3. Well, we can do it another way. Right here. There's your front. There's your low. Here's Monday. Tuesday. So you could say officially, this is where our low might be. This is Invest 94. There's a front. Usually these things are attracted to fronts. So, being responsible, you would tell, do keep an eye on things. But man, it sure looks like a lot of support. 94 could, hook and just go to 93. So, cruises are going to be fun. James, what's up? Welcome, DO. What's going on? Cruises will be fine, I think. If you stay in the eastern or close to the east side of Florida. Let's look at some of the let's look at some of these cruise forecasts real quick on the waves. No, Mike, I don't think Tampa's going to have any big impacts. Unless this thing stalls and crosses the state. So there's decent, but as far as cruising goes, this is Saturday. Not seeing any big waves. I mean, coastal impacts, yeah, let's go to the East Coast now. This is based on the Euro. But they have a good wave map. But we got to go to 00Z. So latest Euro, shows that these are waves. So obviously it takes 94 really close to South Carolina there, but these are waves. I mean, so yeah, Outer Banks again. Even without a direct, landfall, there's some, 20 plus foot waves. Could get a little dicey. I mean, here on Tuesday night, Wednesday, there's some pretty good, 20, 30, 40 foot right there. And that's because the flow gets attracted to 94, 93. I know there's no map there, but so let's look at that. I might do a post about that. I always try to figure out what I'm going to post next. I think the wave impact might be worth posting on even without a direct hit. Let's go to waves and go to next week. Here we go. These are waves. Well, even the euro kind of develops it. I am a premium member. I need to log in. I don't know why I forget to log in. All right. There we go. All right. So here's Tuesday. Obviously, you're already starting to feel the waves across Florida. Monday night. Low pressure. This makes sense. This would be, developing low pressure area. There's your Bahamas over the weekend, Sunday night, 1,000 millibar. Storms could encompass some down there, obviously. But as we get closer here is Tuesday, 1 o'clock, and we can start to see some waves, getting very close to the Outer Banks. There's your wind flow coming in. This would be 12 foot. But there you go, double BOGO. Hey, Ryan. Kathy, what's up? Jeff wants to know about rain in South Florida. Yeah, that'd be a good question. No, a couple more days. I think it's... I think it's just on its way out, honestly. This next front's going to push it out of here. Let's take a look at daily. Here's daily today. Not that too bad down there. Tomorrow, about the same. Here's that next front coming down. This is Thursday. Here's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is rainfall Friday. That's that front coming down. Rainfall totals. Haven't seen anything too high yet. Let's look at the euro for, let's just say, North Carolina. Kind of we'll show a bunch of folks here with one graphic. Hopefully we can do total precip. And there's the big stuff stays just offshore. So pretty good little soaking though through the week. This would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So a couple, 3, 4, 5 inches. Not seeing anything huge. Some of this is going to be combined with that front line. GFS, not going to show hardly any because it's showing the system going over Bermuda. So there's your rainfall GFS. That's more frontal line rains. Nothing to worry about on that. Blended model showing you pretty much the same, hardly anything. More from the front in the mountains than anything else. That's from the front coming down over the weekend. And then the National Weather Service, probably not showing anything. Yeah, this one goes out this Saturday morning. So the front line could bring a lot of rain. I bet you we got excessive rainfall map, I would think, with the front coming into play. Here you go today, but then we got tomorrow. So yeah, it's going to linger. There's your excessive rainfall totals. Today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there you go. All right. Kayla, what's up? I see eyeballs. So that's it. Tropical storm staying offshore. Yep. A lot of fronts. Weak Bermuda high. So yeah, if you're stressing, then you might see this thing hook and miss altogether. So, Mark, yeah, they can collide. I just did a video on that on Facebook, YouTube, and X. If you want to take a look at it, Fujiwara effect. That's a really good video, short video. We will just sit back and wait and see. I can see you. I'm looking now. Hurricane cake. Brevard's looking fine. Orlando's fine. Charlotte, Charlotte's going to get more rain from the front, it looks like. Long Island, no. Wilmington, you're just watching casually. Yeah, I've been walking, Matt. Heck, man, 25, you're doing better than me. Welcome, Gwen. Welcome, Cylindra. Appreciate that. So we'll wrap it up here in a few minutes. Anybody who's been waiting to say hello? Connor, well, the Bermuda High is pretty fascinating because if we get these low pressure systems, let's say like this here, let me look at this. So usually in the past, we would have a very strong high, and these storms sometimes would circle that high. But this year we've had a lot of fronts that have been lingering, and they've made the Bermuda High very weak. That's why Gabrielle's heading towards Portugal and the Azores. That's why 93 is lifting to the north. This is weak enough that's playing trickery a little bit, 94. But eventually this front's coming down. It might lift it and turn it. So that's why. But we still got to worry about this, I'm afraid, later into the season here. We should have low wind shear coming across with La Nina. And any weak wave that comes across or any sort of crossover, it'll have a favorable environment. So, Katie wants to know the chances of landfall on the East Coast. I would give it a 20% chance. Ryan, 94 could miss cold front if it lingers. Now, if you look at some of these worst case scenario ideas, if it lingers and that high pressure builds back in quick and it doesn't have time to feel the effects, then we would get that. Oh my God, we don't want to show that. But there's this is Euro AI, but I'm just showing you the scenario that some of these members go south, missing that turn, and then they would have a brief opportunity to try to develop, and then they eventually would feel something and get lifted up. So anybody that says the Gulf's 100% out there's always technically a chance. So yeah, so 94 would have to stay close to 93, get pulled out of here. If it doesn't, it could drift west and possibly be something to watch down into more next week. But, even the Euro's got a couple of them showing that. Not a lot, but, a couple of them. These are your Euro runs. Not a lot, but there are a couple. And then, here's this time frame of the what the GFS is showing. First part of October, so I don't want to definitely speculate any of that, but we're starting to see ensembles in the BOC over here, and that's kind of what the GFS is doing. But man, so irresponsible to post that when we can't even figure this stuff out. But yes, I'm watching this first week of October. And let's see, and then the I don't want to show the Google AI yet because they haven't done anything this year that I'm impressed with. Cyclone probability. Let's take a look at Caribbean. There's obviously our two systems. There's a few little members keeping it weaker west. This would be Sunday. So I don't know. Everything I've seen is, like I said, 20% chance. That's a good question. Morning, who's that? Morning, Mike. Welcome, Heidi. Super sauce, South Carolina by 10-3. It would be long gone by then. If it impacted Carolinas, it'd be before next week, before this time next week. Lee says a big mess for Benson. Well, you got the cold front coming in. St. Croix, Cheryl Brown, I think you're okay down there. This Invest is just a sloppy rainmaker right now. So if it was me, I wouldn't be stressing down there. Well, I didn't give up beer, Matt. 94 would impact this weekend, super solid. It'd be long gone by 10-4. So anyway, all right. Well, we're gonna sign off. Hope some of this made sense. We think a lot. We think aloud a lot. I hope I made it kind of feeling that 94 is nothing to be stressed about yet. So there you go. That's what I think. And every time we talk tropics, I get a Bermuda Air Holidays. What the heck for? I don't know. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it made sense. I think it did. And anybody new, we appreciate you watching. And there you go. Have a good day. I got a couple big things today I got to do that you'll see posted later. I can't announce anything, but I got a cool little thing coming up. Well, two things. Fox Weather is 145.